Hello everyone, welcome back to our online RE classes. This is Leah. Let's start our session. We light this chalice for the warmth of love, the light of truth, and the energy of action. Okay, so I've been really enjoying this video breathing exercise, and it's a little more advanced than the one on the activity from last week, if you did that. But basically, it's telling you what to do. So we're going to do a breathe in and breathe in, hold, breathe out, hold exercise 4 times. Here we go. Breathe in, hold, breathe out, hold, breathe in, hold, breathe out, hold, breathe in, breathe out. Last time. Hold. Exhale. Hold. So that's a great way to just center and self-settle. You can try and expand your breathing to 6 counts or 8 counts even with a 4 count hold. I think it's a great challenge. Let me know if you try that. Okay, so here's what we're talking about today. The whole month is on wisdom. It's Equinox on Friday. So if you don't know what that looks like, go online and check it out. What is the position of the sun and the earth, and why is it called equinox? It's a great opportunity to think about earth-based religions. So to the right, I have pantheism, animism, indigenous spirituality, or Native American, Wiccan, and Druidism. So go check any of those out. So indigenous religions happen in Africa, New Zealand, many places. And then we have our Native American traditions. If you're curious about any of their practices, go check it out. Today we'll be relating especially to the 7th principle, we care for our planet. And the 6th source, which is we believe in the harmony of nature and the circle of life. Okay, so last week I mentioned that I was going to make a list of things that make me go, So here's some of the things I've been thinking about. Where is Hunan province, which is where the coronavirus outbreak happened? Go look on a map. It was interesting to me. Okay, how far does saliva spew when you sneeze? There is an awesome Mythbusters episode about that if you want to check it out. Why is this the earliest spring in 124 years? Go online and research that. What is the gestation period for a butterfly? Yep, you probably know that. I didn't remember. How do you spell cocoon? I couldn't remember that either. How does the health of the earth relate to the health of people? This would be a cool conversation for you to have with your parents or your friends. How does the health of the earth relate to the health of people? And finally, I learned this week about regenerative farming, and I really appreciated learning about that. If you have any interest, go research that as well. Okay, we're going to do the story for all ages. This story is longer. This is for the older kids, so I know y'all can keep your attention span. It's The Spring Equinox, Celebrating the Greening of the Earth by Ellen Jackson. Okay. Spring is a happy, hopeful season in most parts of the world. Lemon yellow daffodils, white and pink tulips push upward toward the sun. The woods are filled with the sweet smell of damp earth, and the birds are busy building nests. People today know that spring follows winter as surely as night follows day, but thousands of years ago, ancient people feared the winter months when food was scarce and the earth seemed to be asleep. Everyone worried that the sun might slip beneath the horizon and never return. At the time of the spring equinox, when the days lengthened and the sun grew stronger, people were relieved. They knew that the flowers would bloom again and the crops would grow once more. Long ago, on the first day of spring, in the ancient city of Chichen Itza, in what is now Mexico, a crowd of people gathered in the Great Pyramid. They had come to watch the Mayan priests perform an important fire ceremony. The crowd fell silent as the priests prayed to Mother Earth and Father Sun. Then all eyes turned to the north stairway of the pyramid, and everyone waited. As the sun edged its way toward the horizon, a shadow that looked like a snake began to glide down the steps of the pyramid. At sunset, the shadow touched a stone-carved serpent head at the bottom of the pyramid. The people gasped. The shadow and the serpent's head had become one. As surely as a snake sheds its skin, spring would transform the earth. The forces of life would beat back the dark forces of winter. Ancient people such as the Mayans believed that without special ceremonies, the earth would remain dead and barren. In many parts of the world, spring was a time for planting and sowing and hard work. But the spring equinox was also a time of joy. During the festival of Floralia in Rome, people celebrated the coming of the spring with music and merriment. Roman children took part in the festival along with adults. The children wound garlands of flowers around a marble column in the temple dedicated to Flora, the goddess of flowering plants. Then they danced around the column singing songs of praise. In Europe during the Middle Ages, people thought they needed to help the forces of spring conquer the forces of winter. Villagers gathered around bonfires, singing, dancing, and leaping through the flames. Dancers accompanied by jingling bells, attempted to awaken the earth. The dancers would leap as high as they could, hoping the grain would grow as tall as their leaps. That would be a fun thing to try at home. In some villages, a mock battle between summer and winter was acted out. Summer was represented by a man dressed in leaves and flowers. Summer would always defeat winter, which was represented by a man dressed in straw. In England, the fight between summer and winter became a football game between two teams. In other places, such as Ludlow and Shropshire, the battle was in the form of a tug-of-war and thousands of people taking part. Wow, all of that would be fun. A football game for Equinox, a tug-of-war for Equinox. Native Americans also performed ceremonies to welcome the spring. The Plains Cree honored the first berries of the season. The berries were placed in a bowl, and Manito, the Great Spirit, was thanked for his gift. Then the bowl was raised to the sky, and the sun was called upon to ripen the berries. The thunder was asked to send rain. Finally, the bowl was lowered, and the earth was asked to send forth fruit for her children. In Russia, Maslenita was a celebration of the returning of the light. Games, contests, and horse races were part of the festivities. Horses and barns were cleaned and decorated. Everyone ate big, round pancakes and represented the brightly shining sun. That'd be fun, eating pancakes for Equinox. The Jewish holiday of Passover began as an ancient spring festival. Later, it became a time to remember the flight of the Jews from slavery in Egypt. Today, at the beginning of Passover, Jews prepare a special dinner called a Seder. At the Seder, the story of the Jews escaping from Egypt is retold. People sing Passover songs and eat special foods. The foods stand for different parts of the story. They include matzah, a dry bread made without yeast, a sweet mixture made from apples, nuts, and honey, and wine, bitter herbs, and hard-boiled eggs dipped in salt water. The Passover story reminds everyone that joy can follow sorrow and that winter will always be followed by spring. In Iran, the 13-day Iranian festival of Nowruz begins the week before spring equinox. Nowruz, which means new day, is a time of hope and renewal. Houses are cleaned, furniture is repaired, and fresh flowers are brought indoors. Cookies and sweets are presented to the older members of the family. Children receive cash or coins. The day of the spring equinox is also the first day of the Iranian New Year. Each family celebrates the New Year by preparing a special table. 7 items that begin with the letter S in the Persian language are placed on the table. These items are considered to represent happiness and good fortune for the new year. It is considered bad luck to remain at home on the 13th day of Nowruz. Almost everyone spends the day outdoors enjoying a picnic with family and friends. Well, that'd be fun if we all did that this Friday. Holi is a joyous Indian holiday that comes at the end of winter. Holi is also known as the Festival of Colors. On this holiday, people run through the streets, smearing strangers and friends with colored powder and dousing each other with colored water. At the end of the day, everyone is decked out in all the colors of the rainbow. When Christians think of spring, they are reminded of the resurrection of Jesus. Easter, the holiday that commemorates the resurrection, is held on the first Sunday after the first full moon after spring equinox. On Easter, people gather in churches or beside lakes, streams, and oceans for special sunrise services. Easter eggs are dyed in beautiful colors, and people give Easter baskets to one another. Many Easter customs come from the old world. Eggs have always seemed magical and mysterious to people. An egg is a hard, unmoving object, but with a crack, a tiny live creature can emerge from it. Eggs were honored and decorated, dyed, and exchanged by many ancient people. Like the egg, the rabbit is a sign of springtime and fertility, probably because rabbits are especially active in the spring and produce many young at that time. It was the custom in Germany for children to build a nest in a field or garden in which the Easter hare could lay its colorful eggs. When German immigrants settled in North America, they brought this custom with them. I didn't know that. Some parts of the world do not experience seasonal changes in weather. Even in these places, people celebrate the fertility of the earth at special times of the year. The Bambara of Mali in Africa are farmers who work hard to grow millet, rice, and peanuts for their families. At planting time, men wearing male and female antelope headdresses perform a special dance. The dancers bend their heads as if to scoop up the earth with their horns. The purpose of the ancient dance is to honor and encourage the farmers who hoe the fields. Not all holidays celebrated today have ancient origins. In 1969, former Governor Gaylord Nelson of Wisconsin decided that a special day was needed to remind people to protect the environment. On April 22, 1970, the first Earth Day was held. Earth Day helps us remember to love and care for the earth and our fellow creatures. It is celebrated in the spring, a time when the precious beauty of the earth is most apparent. The spring equinox is a time of beauty, and it is also a time of balance. It is not quite summer yet, but not really winter anymore either. It is a time when the world stands between the two seasons. It is a time to walk in balance with nature and look to the future. Coolio. Okay, so one of the things that I wanted to suggest while you all are in homeschool situations or remote learning situations or having a lot more time on your hands possibly is to do doodling. And I have a friend named Sybil Macbeth that wrote a whole book called Doodling Your Prayers. And so here's a couple of examples I did this week. Let's see, this one. I just started, I realized it was St. Patrick's Day, and I just started doodling that this thing right here. And then I started thinking about what words came to me, and so I wrote those down. See, I still didn't know how to write cocoon, but I wrote growing, groaning, waiting, tending, intending, emergent. Anyway, what came to me was that it was a time to tend and set some intentions. And that's what I ended up writing at the top. And then this one is a friend of mine has a program that she calls Bebo Love. And so Shoyanka Rahim was asking people to do doodles with her system on it. So I doodled it, breathe in, breathe out, Bebo. And since we started with that, I thought I would bring this one. And I just wrote some of the words she uses in her system: roar, sigh, hum, yum, shh, grace, peace, health, happiness, ease. And that's what that doodle looked like. So, let's see, I don't know. Sometimes what I like to do on doodles is close my eyes and just draw some lines. It's hard to do with one hand. And then I look at it and I go, what's that about? Or maybe I start doodling with it. And this looks like, I've never drawn with the camera in front before. It was interesting. Okay, I think it's, yeah. Maybe, well. Incubating, something like that. Anyway, you get the idea. But you could doodle and then fill up the whole page. But that trick of just closing your eyes and starting that way is kind of fun. Okay, so I'm going to go over, I'm going to let you, I'm also wanted to show you a origami, butterfly making origami thing, and Kairos is going to do that for me, and I'm going to post that video separate. So right now, I'm just going to go over and ask you to think about, oop, it went out, so I'm going to light again. Any joys and concerns you have. While I relight the candle. There we go. Maybe I'll light this one too. Yep. All right. So think about any joys and concerns that you have. And let's make a wish together as we hold up our joys and concerns and blow out the candle.